What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I'm going to review The Last of Us episode 6. I just watched this episode, and I have to tell you that it's a bit slow. It's not boring necessarily, it's just slow as fuck. The tempo in it just like grinded to a screeching halt all of a sudden. Now, the story picks up with 3 months later, and Ellie and Joel have made it into Wyoming. This 3 month time frame is problematic, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Now, Ellie and Joel run across a cabin with two Native American people in it, or one woman in it, and they pull a gun on the guy that's walking in, who was Graham Greene. Good seeing him. In it, he had a bow, which is BMT had mentioned during the watch party. Like, why don't any of these people have a crossbow or anything? The Native American had a bow. They didn't bother to get an extra. But they roll up in this cabin and they want to know where they are. And once again, you're back to Joel being the heavy and Ellie being the smart mouth. Fuck. The smart mouth, irritating kid in the room. Wasn't liking that shit. Now, while she's being a smart ass and trying to look tough with the little pistol she got, the Native American woman in here is actually funny. The conversation that Graham Greene's character and her have is actually funny with the two of them in there. And through a little maneuvering, they give them the lay of the land, let them know where they are on the map, location-wise, and send them on their way towards where Joel is looking to find Tommy. Now, fuck. Now, a short trip from this cabin across the river and through the woods, literally. Joel and Ellie are trying to get their bearings again, and they are set upon by a group of riders on horses in masks and guns. And this group of people, has a dog with them, and they want to, sniff each of them to figure out who is actually not infected and who is infected. Thankfully enough, the show would be pretty short if the dog mauled one of these people to death. So neither one of them gets mauled, obviously, because they're the main characters, so that's not going to happen anyway, regardless of what kind of tension was set up. You get the leader of the group, this B-dub named Maria, inviting them back to where they are, their base, and you come into the city of Jackson. And Jackson is a town up in the mountains that these people have fortified and have everything that they need there. And they keep it pretty secret because they don't want nobody up there, even though there's raiders and infected in the area. They ain't coming up there. All right. Excuse me. Once Joel gets into this town, you discover that Tommy is here. That Tommy is here and has been here for a while, and you get what is poignant for Joel in the sense that he is reunited with his brother. Now, the next interesting part in this is while they're walking through the town and Maria's pointing out everything that the town has and whatnot to him, and you get that Joel wants to have some, private time with his brother to talk to him about family business. And you find out that Maria, this black woman, and Tommy are together. And through a little bit of conversation with Tommy, Joel finds out that Maria is actually pregnant with Tommy's baby. Real soap opera shit. So it leads to an interesting situation to where one of two things happen in the episode. And I'm speed running through it, so don't worry about it. You can watch the episode yourself. One conversation that's being had is between Tommy and Joel. The other conversation that's being had is between Maria and Ellie. Now, the one that's the most objectionable to me is the one between Maria and Ellie. Because during this conversation, after they provided, some lodgings for Joel and Ellie and some new clothes and letting them take a shower and get clean and eating and all the rest of that, Maria is doing a little work on Ellie's hair, trimming up her ends and stuff, and sitting there trying to undermine Joel while she's talking to this girl. Try to let her know that Joel is a bad man and all the rest of this shit. And I found this really fucked up, right? Because mind you, they haven't even been in this town 12 hours. Not 12. They just got here. They just got to this town. And this chick is trying to warn this little girl, well, he's not who you think he is. Like, how the fuck do you know? You just met this motherfucker. She been with him for the last 3 months. You don't think she know he killed people? This is where the dialogue and some of the writing in this seems fucking dumb as hell. Like, what do you think you're telling her about this guy that she's just traveled with from the East Coast all the way over here to fucking Wyoming? What are you telling her that she don't actually know or hasn't been demonstrated already in the journey over 3 months? And why would you even bother wanting to throw that kind of salt on a motherfucker like that? That shit bothered me. That was like typical, if BGS was watching, that was typically the gynocracy trying to reassert the master program on a chick. Because apparently she was too trusting of Joel. To that woman standard, who's sitting here with a baby in her belly, her little dude, and a seat on the council and getting to run some shit. In her own little fiefdom in the mountains of Wyoming. She need to be the one to tell that girl, well, you need to watch yourself, baby girl, because I don't know. Get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit. Now, the other conversation that happens over two separate setups is a conversation between Tommy and Joel. And in this conversation, you see Joel admitting his vulnerability to that he is getting weaker. And he is really worrying that he is going to get Ellie killed. Or be killed himself because he recognizes his aging and his weakness. Now, while this is a good scene to me, because you see Pedro Pascal acting and dealing with some stuff emotionally and having to confront his brother about this, it does seem kind of cheesy. The reason being is that this whole time, this is what, episode 6, 5 fucking episodes. You ain't seen Joe crack a tear on shit, but now he's sitting up there blubbering in a fucking stable about, I'm failing her. Like, okay, how? She's still here. So you ain't failed nothing yet. The little irritated girl's still alive. Excuse me. Your daughter 20 years ago was still dead. 20 years and 3 months. So you're not failing her. You failed. You couldn't deflect the bullet. But I do understand how that would still weigh on Joel. But during that conversation, Joel actually tries to make his pitch to Tommy in the sense that he wants Tommy to take Ellie off his hands and take her the rest of the way to the Firefly base. Now, where the fuck he's going to go from there, I don't know. Maybe he will sit there and want to raise sheep. But I thought it was kind of fucked up in a sense that even though Tommy is the only person he trusts, he would try to enlist Tommy to take over his mission while he know his brother has a baby on the way. I don't know. That seemed a little fucked up to me. It's like Joel just wanting to give up all of a sudden. When he's been fighting his ass off to keep this girl alive, now he just want to give up because he finally found his brother. And to show the respect and love he has for his brother, he's going to want to send his brother away on a dangerous mission instead of him going. That don't make any sense to me. Again, writing. Now, from here, you get the scene that's that is reported to be from the game, and where Joel goes to Ellie to talk to her about what's going to happen, and she already knows. She already knows that Joel is going to dump her off, and she's upset with Joel about that, and kind of checks him about it. Now, the scene played good to me because it does let you know that a 14-year-old girl does want to have some sex on her life. I didn't agree with Joel getting rid of her either and passing her off to his brother. To me, if I love my brother and I have a mission to do, no matter if I thought I was weak or not, I'm gonna let my brother live and have his life. I'm not gonna impose this shit on him. This is my cross to bear. I'll pick it back up and walk it as far as I fucking can. But I'm not gonna expect him to take it for me. Ellie actually calls him on that shit because Ellie, well, which is usually key when people think they're doing something to spare your fucking feelings when they're not. They sparing their own feelings. Joel thinks he's doing something to help Ellie, that it will be better for her. And she tells him, no, it won't be better for me because I'd be more afraid than less afraid because I'm with somebody I don't know. Which after 3 months, I would think Joel would get it. I don't think his head is so fucking dense that he can't understand that there's a bond forming between he and this girl who saved each other lives and whatever the hell they went through the last 3 months to get to this point. That it's just like, ooh, this is your stop. Bing, ring the bell, get off the bus. No, it's not getting it. Joel's angst about the loss of his daughter and Ellie feeling like that to him and him being worried about that, yes, I do. But to me, in that sense, since Joel was actually still having nightmares about the shit, he would actually want to try harder, not give up. It doesn't track to me. If you felt you were failing your daughter that died in your dreams, I think you would do everything to try to keep her alive and not give up. Say, well, somebody else can keep him alive. It doesn't even work. Excuse me. It doesn't even work. So Tommy agrees to take Ellie off of Joel's hands and take her the rest of the way to the University of Colorado, whatever, a week away. And Joel and Ellie have their argument. Joel leaves in a huff, lets Ellie know, you're not my daughter, I'm not your daddy, and I'm out. Bye. Okay, cool. The next morning, the logical thing happens. She goes to leave. Ellie goes to leave with Tommy. Joel is there. He takes his position back up, and Tommy gets to stay. And now they're off. Now, from here on is where the show actually, well, it doesn't gain steam tempo wise. It gains steam in the sense that Joel and Ellie actually start acting like they've known each other for a long time. They've actually spent that 3 months with each other, learning to trust each other. But the problem you have is now this is when Joel wants to teach Ellie how to shoot a fucking rifle, which in my mind that should have happened 3 months fucking ago. This is way too long for you to finally, okay, I'm gonna teach you how to shoot. What it seems like to me is that this ending part was initially what should have happened in the beginning, that it was juxtaposed, that they had this shit and they wanted to fill in some of other stuff instead. So they took it and put it at the end and then made some new stuff in the beginning that doesn't fucking track with the ending or the last episode. If 3 months have passed, they should be closer. They shouldn't be still doing and acting the same way they were in the last episode. Snarky comments and shit, no. But by the end, snarky comments that she's making are actually on point and kind of funny. Okay. Now, they finally get to University of Colorado, and what is supposed to be the Firefly base is cleaned out. There are no Fireflies here. The Fireflies have flown away. And while Joel and Ellie, gain some clues by looking at the stuff left behind and figure out the next place they need to go, which I believe is St. Louis or something like that. So they go down track to the center of the state because they found a map that the Fireflies were using on a bulletin board. They go in there, which if this is kind of a secret group and they don't want nobody following them, I think they would have took the map down. They wouldn't have left it up. You'd just be wondering where the fuck they went. Why, if there's raiders and stuff like that around here, would the Fireflies leave an open fucking invitation to anybody to find them, as in a map on a bulletin board with all the push pins in it? No. But be that as it may, Joel and Ellie are in this university and they hear voices, and sure enough, they found a little small group of raiders walking around. Now, while Joel and Ellie do get on the Metal Gear Solid, sneaking around and getting out of there on a stealth mission during the daytime, Joel again is surprisingly attacked by somebody that he didn't hear coming at the last minute, and he fights one of these raiders to the death, my nigga, to the death. Gets behind him, snaps his neck in front of Ellie, and calls it a day. But what has happened in that fight is where the raider came up and swung a ball bat at Joel and missed, broke the bat. When Joel turns around to face Ellie after the fight, he has the ball bat handle sticking out of his stomach. That the raider stabbed him with the broken end of the baseball bat. So it is a fucked up wound. If you've ever broken a baseball bat or just something thick made of wood, it's a fucked up wound. Joel, stupidly, because now we're forgetting again that Joel has some military training, he pulls the goddamn thing out. He pulls it out. And while the rest of the Raider party is running towards him, they jump on the horse and ride out, seemingly leaking blood all over the fucking place out of his stomach. That kind of bothered me because, like I said in one of the other reviews, I don't like it when the character has a skill set. He's supposed to be smart, and he gets into these situations where he doesn't use that skill set at all. Like he's completely stupid. You got a wound, you need to get away, you got something sticking in you, you leave it sticking in you and get the fuck away first. Because as soon as you pull it out, it's going to be like an open faucet leaking your fucking blood out of you. At least while it's in there, it's blocking the hole. I think somebody in the military would have understood that. I do. But maybe that's just me. Joel and Ellie get away from the raiders, ride down the road a bit, and Joel eventually falls off the fucking horse and is holding his stomach. Ellie jumps off the horse. She's looking at him, and he is just leaking out in the snow. And now she is now crying, telling him to open her eyes because she doesn't know how she's going to survive without him. And that is the episode. And that seems stupid as fuck to me. Well, I like the show. Look, I call balls and strikes, and that was a strike. There was at least two other ones I named. Like, why the fuck? It's not, the character's not being handled that they have any understanding of fucking reality. He was stabbed. You saw it. You acknowledged it. He's been bleeding for however long they were on the horse trying to ride away. He's lost a lot of fucking blood. You cannot just command him to open his fucking eyes like a little Robbie the robot or something, and he's just going to do it. Yes, I hear you, master. That's not how this shit works. You got to close that wound up. Now, in the trailer for episode 7, you see that episode 7 is a flashback telling you Ellie's backstory. Because they're going to let you linger on the fact that Joel is laying out in the snow on the side of a fucking railroad track, bleeding the fuck out, and Ellie don't know what to do to stop the bleeding, put something in the patch, nothing. She don't know what to do, which is annoying because this little girl talks in the whole show like she know every goddamn thing, but she don't know how to patch no goddamn wound. Clot it, close it, something, cauterize it, any of them seeds. She don't know how to do it. Makes me wonder what the fuck she was doing for 3 months out there. This is where the 3-month time jump does not help them. It doesn't. Because these characters are not acting like they've been together for 3 months and that they learned anything in 3 months' time. They're acting really fucking oblivious. So that bothered me a little bit, but otherwise, it was a decent episode. I liked Joel meeting back up with his brother and seeing what the situation was. And the situation in Jackson is pretty good. They got their shit together. Power, electricity, heated water, sewage. They got all that shit popping. They got a whole colony right there. Awesome. At least you're not underground somewhere. But how they left it with Joel, not liking that. And I'm not liking Ellie not knowing what to do in this situation. But that's just me. So that's my reaction to Last of Us Episode 6. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. And I will see you guys next time. Until I find my outro. Peace.